Suck it, nerd. Hey guys, it's Vengeful Shadows here. Hopefully everyone is having a good day today and is enjoying the new Master Duels game. And there's a lot of people that have been coming back to the game and are also trained, reverting over from Duel Links. A little bit similarities, but way closer to the actual game, okay? And Master Duel has been pretty exciting and honestly very, very addicting. And pulling packs is just the most fun thing ever in that game. Honestly, I went to throw all my money at it. But we're going to go into a little bit more of the card lists on Master Duel and the ban list and forbidden list and how it differs from the actual list that we have. And there's a nice little actual link you can find on Reddit that will tell you all the differences, so you can kind of have that in your back pocket as well. But I just wanted to do a quick video going over the differences, okay? Because there are plenty, and it definitely makes Master Duel its own kind of like format. A lot of people now don't even want to play much of the TCG until they revert the format around, because we've been waiting for a ban list and it should be any day now. But kind of let's get into it. I'm also going to kind of label some notable cards in the game that have come off the list or have increased from one to multiple and how that impacts the game, okay? And I think it's pretty important, honestly, to note that this is not an OCG list, okay? So there's a lot of rumors right now that Master Duel's list right now is an OCG list, and that's because it's like heavily resembles a list that they had like a couple years back. But there is definitely some differences in the list, and that is enough to make the format completely different, especially with the mentality of TCG players compared to the OCG mindset, which is very different if you kind of study their the way they play. Okay, and I think the biggest thing we need to focus on in Master Duels and why the list is the way it is, and it's not an OCG list, is because it's a best of one game, okay? So in Master Duel, you're not playing best 2 out of 3 unless you're playing like a tournament that's set up by someone, which there are there, and that's pretty cool. But as far as grinding out the ranks, as far as it is right now, the game itself is a best of 1, okay? So that means you have to play cards in your deck that you would normally reserve for the side decks, okay? And this is used to widen up the playing field amongst various decks while maintaining a consistent flow with the higher tier decks, because they're going to be able to kind of maneuver out their combos, as well as maining Maxi and Ash and Nibiru and stuff like that, okay? So like I said, when we're going through this list, there are going to be a lot of cards that people are going to be like, what the hell are you guys smoking? Like, what are you on? And they're on a best of 1 game, okay? So you are a little bit more free with the type of cards that are allowed to be in your format when it is a best of 1, because people are then forced to tech cards in their main that, like I said, they would normally have for their side decks, okay? So overall, I think best of 1 is just a super good way for them to go about it with this game, and I'm very interested to see like the type of decks we're going to see come up with that. So we're going to go down the list, and like I said, we're going to do some notable cards, but the biggest one right now, so we're going to go from what's going on and does not exist or is forbidden, and that is Victory Dragon, Zodiac Raptor, the Gandora X Dragon of Demolition, Cannon Soldier, Toon Cannon Soldier, and these are all banned, by the way. These are cards that are banned. Toon Cannon Soldier and Cannon Soldier MK2, the Amazoness Archer. We have Divine Sword, Phoenix Blade, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, Set Rotation, Life Equalizer, and Magical Explosion. Those are all cards that have been banned, okay? Whether they've been forbidden, limited, or unlimited in the game for TCG, they are now banned. And the reasoning for these bans is a lot of them set up some really unique OTKs or FTKs that a lot of time even like standard side deck cards just will not allow to counter. Like, for instance, Amazoness Archer was used in, like, a 6 Samurai deck, because it's a warrior, and you can spam out Samurais with the Bushido counters now that Gateway is out, and you would infinitely burn your opponent to death, okay? So cards like that, or cards that lock the opponent into certain types of play, like Set Rotation, and just annoying combo cards like Divine Sword and Life Equalizer, have all been cut out of the game. And this had allowed Konami to actually incorporate cards back off the list into the game that help more decks than just like one that like got it banned, okay? So that's, like I said, that's kind of their mentality. They're speeding up the game as well as allowing a variety of decks to re-emerge by cutting off like kind of the broken end caps, okay? And like I said, I mean, you got little things like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. You can debate whether or not that's like a super good to have card in the meta, but I think they just didn't want people to have to like main deck so many side deck cards just because everyone's going to play Dragoon, and then you lose to a majority of decks that you end up fighting that don't have Dragoon in it, okay? So that's kind of like the mentality of this is like, once again, it's the best one game, okay? So people are going to be playing the things that can win to the most decks and lose to the least amount, okay? Sounds dumb, and it's like, well, no, duh, but whatever. So we're going to go over some notable cards and things that have come off the list, like I said, okay? And, so we're going to go down. The biggest one I just want to mention right now that everyone's been hearing of is Maxi. Okay, and Maxi is insane. I love the card, and I feel like it's like the great equalizer in the best of one meta, okay? And because this allows you to draw into the hand traps and the outs that you might not have necessarily opened up into with like the 5 cards you were allotted. And this also like gives you answers to the opponent's board when they're because a lot of decks in here with what is off the list, they are very monster mash spam heavy. Like they're just keep bringing multiple monsters out of the deck, synchroing, linking, and exceeding, and they're going to end on a wall of 5 negates, okay? That you're not going to be able to out with a normal 5-card hand, and it's going to be well over 8,000 in damage, okay? Because that's kind of what Yu-Gi-Oh does. Now, Maxi was in the OCG for a while. This has kept, in my opinion, some of the decks, like even slower decks viable, because they're able to keep up with those monster mash decks, okay? And I do feel like it has to now be incorporated in those decks outs to cards like Maxi, and not just hoping your opponent doesn't open 2 hand traps instead of 1, okay? Because Maxi is going to allow them to draw into more hand traps, so that's why we call it the Maxi Challenge. Or you're going to let them draw, or you're going to stop your summoning. And then it's super strong when drawing into a Nibiru, and that's something I kind of want to like give a shout out to. And we're going to probably be seeing played like going on in the meta is not only will this let you draw into things like Ash Blossom and Gamma that like let you interrupt, but you can draw into a Nibiru and just flat out annihilate the board they just generated, have 7 extra cards in your hand so you can retaliate on your own the next turn, okay? So Maxi, not the first on the list over here, but the first in my heart, and I'm sure many others, and some hatred, but Maxi is the #1 card coming back, in my opinion, to Master Duel, okay? So we're going to, once again, take a look at this list and point out some notables. We got Astrograph Sorcerer, that has been forbidden, going to 1. Alright, Orchest Harp Horror, going to 1. We have Thunder Dragon Colossus, okay? And that is a notable one we definitely want to mention here. And that's a boss monster to the Thunder Dragon deck, as well as a splashable tech in a variety of other builds, okay? Adding a free lockdown to their end board, because essentially all you have to do is get a Thunder Dragon on the board and then special summon out Thunder Dragon Colossus by basically contact fusing the 1 Thunder Dragon off the board. And then as long as Colossus is on the board, okay, cards cannot be added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except by drawing them. And that is locking your opponent, not you. And then on top of that, if this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish 1 Thunder monster from your graveyard instead. Okay, so not only does he create a wall for your opponent from entering their deck, so he is not just like a draw and lock that lets your opponent get 1 off, he just shuts it down entirely. He's 2600 attack, 2400 defense, and has 1 protection because you used a Thunder Dragon to summon him out at least, okay? So that being said, Thunder Dragon Colossus is one of the most notable returns to the game, going from 0 to 1, and we're going to be seeing Thunder Dragons going crazy with it, Link Dragons going crazy with it, and just a variety of decks being able to kind of like utilize them overall, okay? And then, so after Thunder Dragon Colossus, we got Heavy Metal Foes Electromite, okay? And we're seeing a lot of cool stuff coming back to the extra deck here from the list, okay? And that from Colossus, Electromite, True Calamities, all the good boys right here. Heavy Metals Electromite, though, is the Pendulum starter, okay? And overall, super good card. We're going to pull that list back up because we definitely flipped it down. Okay, there we go. So the heavy metal foes Electromite, right, was banned and went to 1. It's the Pendulum Engine starter that seriously killed all the decks when it got banned, and the consistency of the decks have definitely went down. This kind of ensures you having a Pendulum scale, as well as kind of setting up a little bit in the extra deck, and then because it's a link monster with 2 arrows, it points down right and down left, okay? So overall, Electromite returning to this game is letting the Pendulum players go wild. Alright, and then when it's link summoned, you can add up any Pendulum monster from the deck to your extra deck face up. Okay, and then once per turn, you can target one of their face up card you control, destroy it, then add one face up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. So you can essentially blow up a card and then add the card you added to the face up extra deck to your hand. So it allows you to almost search any Pendulum deck, or any Pendulum monster to your hand. Then if a card or cards in your Pendulum zones leaves the field, you draw 1 card. So you essentially add the Pendulum to the extra deck, pop one of your Pendulum cards, draw a card, and then add the Pendulum from the extra deck to your hand that you put there from the deck. So super good. Another card is True King of All Calamities, and this is just a seriously big boss monster, and it's a 1-card lockdown for attribute type decks like Dry Taunt. It's heavily despised a lot in the TCG, so I'm sure plenty of people were not too happy to see it on this list, considering it just kind of got banned not too many formats ago in the TCG. Okay, and since he is a rank 9, slightly harder to get out, but there's a lot of ways to kind of cheat him out as well. So nice little board control guy there. All right. We also have on this list the Calamities, Wind-Up Carrier Zenmighty going from Forbidden to Limited. We have Brilliant Fusion from Forbidden to Limited. And then this is the huge one. We have Vanity's Emptiness. Okay. This card was definitely banned for a couple years in the TCG. A little bit after Pendulums came out, a lot of boards would establish control and then flip up Emptiness. It is literally the cherry on top of a control board, okay? You summon up a bunch of negates, and then you flip up Emptiness to essentially cut off your opponent from special summoning anything at all, okay? And then since you already have your established board, it's really not going to affect you that much. If cards are sent from the deck or your field to the graveyard, it's destroyed, so you can actually even turn it off in a way if you need to start summoning on your next turn, okay? So, in my opinion, that's huge, and one of the most powerful cards coming back to the game, and we're definitely going to see that in the metagame getting played, okay? That is Vanity's Emptiness. Last card in this list, going to 1, is ABC Dragon Buster. And I really feel like that is kind of the best of one thing, and then that is why some people, I think, kind of reckon it a little bit more to the OCG format, because you got little things like that. All right, cards that have been going to 2 in this game, and we got quite a few and some really notable ones. All right, we got Danger Jackalope. Okay, that went to 2, so that increases consistency of rank 3 and PK Fire. We got Called by the Grave, which is a huge card right now in the metagame. We're seeing this in the top 3 cards played. It's Ash Blossom, Maxi, Called by. Okay, and a lot of the meta decks, especially in some of those tournaments, and some of those are the 2 of tournaments. Okay, best 2. So Called by, great counter card to the best cards such as Maxi as well as Ash Blossom, and it's a great counter to counters, okay? So if your opponent, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, and if you do, until the end of the next turn, its effects are negated, as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of monsters with the same original name. So if they pitch a hand trap, you can banish the hand trap, its effects are negated, and then if they have a monster on the field whose effects are trying to activate, you can use Called by to banish a copy of that same card for your opponent's graveyard to null and void the effects on the field. So not only does it prevent hand traps, it can actually be like a little forbidden chalice, okay? So, very good interruption card, and, I mean, since we see how used Maxi is in this game, it's no surprise Called by the Grave going to 2 is going to be seen heavy play in the metagame, okay? So then we got Scapegoat. We got Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage, which is a big notable card for the Sky Striker bundle that allows them to add any Sky Striker and then get a free draw, so that makes that a lot better. We got Thunder Dragon Roar, being semi-limited to kind of tune down the Thunder Dragon deck. Harmonizing Magician at 2, Soul Eating Over Raptor at 2, which is kind of a hit. Gamma at 2, which is interesting to see. Beginning of the End, Cursed Outland, Magical Meltdown, Mask Change, Memories of Hope, Widow Anchor, as well as Super Polymerization, which is a very interesting card to see go to 2, but it's a very strong card, so that in this game I'm sure would be a lot. These are cards that are going to 3. And these are insane. And this is why this is definitely like what people are saying. It's like a lot of the OCG. But a lot of this is ensuring like this is the best of 1 game. This is the best of 1 format. And that's why we're going to see a lot of decks just going nutter butters and just completely crazy, okay? But at the same time, you have to consider they have to main deck outs to their main decks, okay? You can't side deck, so you have to dedicate outs to your main deck. And that's why a lot of these decks are allowed to run rampant, because things like Maxi and Nibiru will shut down their first turn real fast if they don't play outs like Called by the Grave, okay? So, we're seeing things like Block Dragon going from banned to unlimited, and that's insane. Basically allowing Emancipator back to full power, okay? Block Dragon was just a huge card that generated a bunch of resources in the TCG and then was banned a few years after. Okay, we got Destrudo the Lost Dragon's Frisian, which is really good. Fairy Tail Snow, which is definitely a fan favorite in a bunch of mill decks. We got Jet Synchron, Luna Light Tiger, which is a real big one. As we mentioned earlier, Max C. We have Mecha Phantom Beasto Lion, Samsara Lotus, which is interesting, Spiral Master Plan, Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom, and then a big notable one right here is Union Carrier. Union Carrier is almost like another cherry on top, kind of like how Emptiness was. This was a card kind of replacing Emptiness for a while. Especially with Emancipator being at full power, we're going to see Union Carrier equipping to a Dark Monster, and then equipping a like the Buster from the Buster Blader. It's one of the little dogs that when you equip to a monster, it prevents them from special summoning from the extra deck. So they'll just end their field with a Union Carrier and equipping the Buster to their monster, so then the opponent cannot special summon from the extra deck. Seeing that return to the game is going to be interesting, to say the least, alright? After that right there, Union Carrier, we got first the Yang Zing Ding Long. We got number 42, Galaxy Tomahawk, coming off the list, which is actually kind of crazy. Heroic Champion 86. Chicken Game, which another one is a fan favorite. This is kind of like what people were playing way before mine was ever thought of, okay? And essentially, the player with less life points takes no damage, and then both players get to access the effects of Chicken Game by paying 1,000 life points, in which they draw a card, destroy this card, or your opponent gains 1,000 life points. So it's kind of a cool little card. A lot of spam decks would kind of play a lot of OTK, FTKs even, just to get that free +1 draw. So we'll definitely be seeing this kind of card played a lot in the metagame. Kaiser Coliseum. Now, I shouldn't even talk about this card, okay? Clearly, players literally don't know what it does, and it's huge. I've not seen it played. I've not seen people even attempt to play this card, and that is a shame. That might be good. I'm definitely going to probably be playing it. And then if there's one or more monsters on the field of the control of this card, his or her opponent cannot place a monster on the field if his or her number of monsters would exceed the number of monsters that are on the field of this card's controller. Okay, this is an old card. It's written like ass. I'm going to keep it real. Alright, so essentially, if I go first, and if you have more monsters than me and I play Kaiser Coliseum, your monsters do not go off the board, okay? And if I summon one monster, your monsters do not go off the board. What this is kind of a starter card. So if I summon one monster and activate Kaiser Coliseum, you cannot control more than one monster. Okay, that's Kaiser Coliseum. I have to already have the established board. If you have more monsters first, you are already good to go. It's definitely a go first card. That might be why it's in the game, because it's a best of one. But Kaiser Coliseum is insane. Alright, let's keep going. We got Smoke Grenade of the Thief going to 3. That grass looks greener, which I just highlighted, is a huge card in the game right now. It was crazy upon release. A lot of 60 card decks will rejoice with this, being able to mill pretty much an immediate 20 out of their deck, and then being able to special summon a bunch of monsters from the graveyard, especially the Fairy Tail Snow. So grass is greener is just one of the most psychotic cards ever. You know, we got things like Foolish Burial at 1 that like let you mill 1 monster of your choice, which is really strong. But then we have things like that, like Grass Looks Greener, which lets you mill 20 cards, and especially with decks that have like full access to the graveyard. So we're going to be seeing a ton of decks using this. All right, we got Black Dragon, Clap Serpent, as well as the White Dragon going to 3. So a lot of Dragon Links are going to be excited about that. Danger, Tuchinoko going to 3. Dark Grepher at 3. Dynamite Knight of the True Draco Fighter at 3. Eva at 3. Infernity Archfiend at 3. That's going to be huge. Got Miscellaneous Source going back to 3, which is going to be good for the Dino players. Phantom Sky Blasters at 3, which is cool. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon at 3. Servant of Endymion. True King. The Disaster one. Like I said, White Dragon Wyver Buster. Then we got Master Diamond Gem Knight. Prank Kids Meow Meow Moo. Striker Dragon. Cyber Angel Benton. All these going to 3. Also going to 3 is Beatrice, Lady of Eternal, Daigusto Emerald, Solomon Great. What is that? Mirage Stallion. Ooh, good one up hero, which is A Hero Lives. And one of the best starters for our hero deck. Alright. And they lost a lot of traction whenever it's sitting at 1 with that hefty costs. People would still play it, especially to get out things like Stratos or ones that send to the grave or add to the hand. Hero Lives going to 3 is going to be really huge for the hero decks, alright? I cannot wait to see those kind of get played, especially some Dark Law builds. Card of Demise, which is another card that has been seeing a lot of play, and things like Eldritch is going to 3. We got Chain Strike, Dimensional Fissure is huge, Draco Face Off, Final Countdown, Fire Formation Tanky, Instant Fusion, Into the Void, Magical Mid-Breaker Field, Mind Control, Reasoning, and that's huge. And things like Sky Striker and Infernoid, being able to mill half your deck, like I said, with things like Grass is Greener, is insane. So definitely keep an eye on cards like Reasoning in this game. We got Solomon Great Circle, Sekka's Light, Sky Striker Multi-Roll / Draw, Upstart Resort, or sorry, Spirals Resort, Upstart Goblin going to 3, so that's super good for consistency. Macro Cosmos, Skill Drain, insane by the way. And Skill Drain is probably the best floodgate, if not like one of the most powerful ones, especially being all the way from Dark Crisis. Going back to 3 is going to be really huge for this card and decks that can utilize it. Being able to set up kind of big beat sticks and then just shut down the opponent's effects while they have low-level monsters, low attack monsters. It's going to be great, and it's a champ in the Eldritch build, okay? And then we got things like Wall of Revealing Light going to 3 because of cards like Life Equalizer being banned. Danger Nessie at 3, and Perform a Pal, Skull Crobat Joker at 3. And like I said, we got things like Macro Cosmos and D-Fissures going to 3. Both really good, considering we're going to have a lot of graveyard spam decks. So, that's huge. And like I said, guys, this list is basically because we're having a best-of-1 game right now. And that's why you're allowed to see all this stuff come off the list. And not just off the list, I mean fully. Not forbidden, not limited, not semi. Completely at 3. Max C to 3. And like I said, best one of, people have to tech a bunch of stuff into their main deck that can cover a wide variety of, decks that are thrown at them. So, it's good. It's been fun, and I think it's going to be nice seeing, like, some decks evolve and new decks arise once we, because everyone's going to, like, the main TCG standard decks, and that's cool. It's really easy to do. But I think we're going to see the game evolve here once everyone kind of widens their horizon on what is available in this game, especially good at one-ofs, okay? So everyone, again, YouTube, hopefully everyone enjoyed and got some knowledge from this video. Again, this list is on, what is this? Yeah, it's on Reddit. This list is on Reddit, okay? And I could probably actually link it in the thing below. So guys, if you like this or anything, definitely drop that sub. Check out some of the other videos. We're going to be posting up a bunch for the TCG and Master Duel as well. We've already been doing some TCG with some deck profiles and some market watches, but we're looking forward to keeping an eye on Master Duel. So everyone, stay safe and have a good day, okay?